Hi, I'm Abby.
I'm Goody.
And this is the Crush Corner.
Today we're going to be talking about pod systems and salt nicotine in general, the differences between the traditional vape and the pod systems. So here I've got the Soarin' Air, the Smoke Rolo Badge, the extremely popular Juul, and then Abby over here has the Me Pod.
And then with the different salt nicotines, we have 3 of the most popular ones we sell in our store. We have Verdict Vapors, Rainbow Cookies in 30 milligram. We have the Blue Slushy from Propaganda in 35 milligram, and the Mango by Simple Blends in 50 milligram.
So this is the Juul. This is the most famous one out there. This is the one that everyone's using. It was made famous actually by that Dave Chappelle show on Netflix that he was just toting this around in. So the way they work, it's just a little pod instead of like usually the big tanks with the bigger mods. And you just stick it in here. It comes with, what is it, 5 flavors?
The starter kit comes with 4 flavors. There's a lot of other flavors that Juul has, but that's the most, why it's so popular is because it's so convenient. You just take the pre-filled pod and put it in.
Yeah, and all you do is you just auto draw. It's got an auto draw function. You don't even hit any buttons or anything. You just inhale on it like a cigarette. And you just puff out the smoke. It's really good for people trying to quit cigarettes, looking for that nicotine fix because it's actually got what's called salt nicotine in it. And salt nicotine is a little bit different than the regular freebase nicotine that you usually find in vape juice. The reason for that is because the way that the nicotine actually bonds to the salt molecules is a little bit different, and it allows you to actually get more of the nicotine in there without actually having to feel it in your throat. So the Juuls, they are 5%, which is actually 50 milligrams of nicotine.
A lot of people don't like the 50 milligrams, so there actually are a lot of other options when it comes to pod systems. My personal favorite is the Me Pod just because of the digital design on it. But instead of having your pre-filled pod systems, you actually pull the pod out and it's refillable up to 8 times. So with that being said, you can actually pick out your own flavor and your own nicotine, so you're not just stuck with your 50 milligrams. Like for me, I use 25 milligrams, but there's also like 30 milligrams, 35, and there's also 50 if you wanted to have that large nicotine hit.
There's also this one. This is the Smoke Rolo Badge. It functions pretty much exactly the same way as that Me Pod, except this is the pod system. It's just this guy that you pull out and replace every week and a half, 2 weeks, depending on how many times you fill it. Because on that guy, you can actually fill it up to 8 times in between uses. I get about, what'd you say, about 2 or 3 days out of it?
Out of the pod life, yeah, you refill it like every 3 days, which is a little bit more convenient than the Juul because a lot of people are puffing through it within a day. So that gets kind of expensive.
Yeah. And I'm actually vaping on Melonberry. It's the 25 milligram nicotine. As I said, you can put any kind of juice in this, but it is actually best for that salt nicotine.
The pros of using like the ones that are refillable is mostly because they last longer. Also, the battery life on the ones that are refillable is a lot larger than what you would get out of the Juul. Like this guy, it's 950 mAh. In comparison, yours is what? Like
I think it's like 280?
280?
Yeah.
Which is still a long, or is a big battery, but a lot of people who are gonna be using these are gonna be puffing on them a lot. So for me, I charge mine every 3 days.
Mine, it's about every day and a half or so.
But traditionally, like with any pod system, the only thing you really need to do is just pop the pod out and fill it up with whatever you wanna use.
So the Juul actually comes with a charger like this. All of them come with some form of charger, but the Juul is a special because you just plug it into a computer or an outlet, and then it's actually magnetized on top there, and it just sits like that. All of the other ones that we sell are actually, they have the micro USB in them, much like the Android chargers and like traditional vapes.
Right. I really like the Me Pod too because it actually, unlike all the other pod systems, it actually has a power button on it. So you can click it 5 times to turn it on and off, or you can press and hold the button for 5 seconds and it actually puts it in or out of stealth mode, which pretty much when it's in stealth mode, the output's a little bit smaller so you can be like in a public setting and take a draw without having a lot of vapor come out. But if you have it in the actual mode where the light's on, it will display 3 different colors, red, purple, or blue, and that just tells you what the battery's at.
This one, as she said, the Me Pod is the only one that we currently sell that actually has that power button. The other ones, we have one different than the two that we're carrying here. It's called the Soarin' Air. It's actually got an on-off switch, and it kind of just looks like a little credit card. And they're really nice for stealth, as she said. You can take them in public places. Normally, like when you're smoking a cigarette, you'd have to step outside and do that. I'm
guilty of vaping in public settings, though, just because it's so discreet that no one really sees that you're doing anything. So you're still able to get your fix of nicotine, have a good flavor without putting everyone around you at risk to like secondhand smoke and things like that.
This is actually the Soarin' Air. Said it's a little bit smaller than a credit card, fits right into your pocket. You actually draw on the side over here, so it's just like one of these. Just like any other ones. But as I said, this one's actually got the on-off switch, which is pretty convenient. So in case something does go wrong with your coil and it starts to auto-fire, you can automatically just turn it off or even take the pod out, which is really nice.
The real difference between like a pod system and a traditional e-cig, though, is the draw in general. Like with a traditional e-cig, you're gonna have what is called sub-ohm, which will produce a lot of vapor. And some people, that works for them, but a lot of people don't want that. But like with a traditional e-cig, like I said, it's a lot bigger of a draw like this.
And as you notice, it's more of like a lung hit. It's going directly into your lungs instead of the pod systems, which hit more like a traditional cigarette, so it's a mouth-to-lung hit instead of just a straight lung.
And the vapor production is significantly smaller just because it's a low-powered device, so you don't have to have a lot of power to get the nicotine you want. Like with these guys, you get a lot of vapor because you're getting more concentration of nicotine, but you don't really need that with this guy since it's already higher, like the 25, the 35, the 50 milligrams. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to give our video a like and comment down below if there are any other products you want us to review or try.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks, guys.